and welcome finally to my follow-up video on the Bosch Series 8 oven. First of all, before I do the review, I would just like to say thank you to those of you that have left me comments on my previous review about this oven. It's amazing to get feedback from real people out there. I certainly didn't expect to get the number of views I got for the previous oven review. Obviously, there are a lot of people out there like me that love their gadgets, especially their kitchen gadgets. One of the comments I received was that there were no reviews for this oven, or the ones that were out there were the promo videos by Bosch, which I certainly watched a lot of, and also there were a few videos in other languages. So I'm glad that I filled that void and supplied a video for people out there. I know before I purchased this oven, I was also looking for videos about it, but struggled. So I knew that, you know, there is definitely one missing, which I've plugged. So, I've had this oven now for quite a few months, and what I will say, because I do have a few, not issues, but things that I'd like to state, because before I had this oven, I knew that I would love it. When I first got it, I was just really loving it. I knew it was amazing. But now I've had it for a long time. Yes, I absolutely still love it. Yes, absolutely it was the right oven to buy. I'm really pleased with it. I would buy another one if I had space and have two ovens, absolutely. But there are a few little tweaks and little issues that I've come across that I think now I'd like to get across to people that were asking me, you know, what's it like now you've had it for quite a while. So, first of all, quite a few people have asked me about the assist functions. Obviously, one of the main selling features of this oven is the assist. So it will help you with your baking, it will help you with your roasting, with perfect bake, with perfect roast, and it will also help you cook a range of different meals. In my first video, I did go through the assist options and showed you what was available. I like assist, and I have tried to use it wherever possible, but one of the major issues is I only have one oven. I would love a kitchen where I could have two ovens, because if you did have two ovens, I think assist would be brilliant. The issue with one oven is this. Let's say you wanted to roast a chicken using the assist function. When you roast a chicken, you can use the meat probe. You don't have to, but if you use the meat probe, it will automatically know when the chicken is cooked. It will set the temperature. It will tell you, put the chicken in the oven on shelf 3, put it upside down, and then halfway through, like 30 minutes later, it will bing and it will tell you to rotate the chicken, and then it will carry on cooking. It uses hot air, top roasting to roast a chicken, a bit like a rotisserie chicken would. That's brilliant, but say you are cooking a Sunday dinner and you also have the roast potatoes, you have the roast vegetables, you have the stuffing. You can't really cook all of that at the same time as using the assist function for the roast chicken, because first of all, the chicken needs to go into the middle of the oven, so you're kind of limited to how you can put something above or below it. And secondly, it's using hot air, obviously for the case of a chicken, it's using hot air roasting, so it's not like the whole oven is the same temperature. It's specifically designed to roast a chicken, so you would really struggle to roast anything else at the same time. So that means you take the chicken out and then you cook the roast potatoes or whatever, and obviously it messes up your cooking time. And when you're stressed as it is, when you're trying to cook a dinner, you don't really want that added complication. If obviously you had two ovens, then one oven could be cooking the chicken or the roast turkey if it's Christmas, for example, and the other oven could just be used as a bog standard oven and cook everything else. That would work well, but for me, I don't have that choice. So that's one drawback, I think, with assist. It can work because I often use the meat probe. It's not an assist feature, but I use the meat probe when I'm roasting, say, a joint of beef. I will set the oven to the temperature that I want it to be. I will put the meat probe in and I will tell it to cook the beef to, say, 50 degrees. Then you can put other things in, because I'm using 4D hot air, so the whole oven is constantly the same temperature. I can have the roast potatoes in, I can have the beef in, I can have the roast carrots in, and I can use the meat probe. So it does work, but you kind of have to play around with it a little bit. One of the assist features is Yorkshire puddings, and I found that you could not cook Yorkshire puddings using the assist feature at the same time as anything else. So what I tend to do is I will cook the Yorkshire puddings, say, in the morning using the assist, and it works really well. And then I will, put them in the fridge, and then later on when I cook the roast, I will pop them back in the oven when it's hot just to reheat them. That works really well, and to be honest, it takes away quite a bit of the stress of cooking Yorkshire puddings and having them fail. So you can make it work, it's just not that great. I've used assist for a roast chicken, and it was perfect, using Perfect Roast. I've cooked a lasagna from Fresh, and that worked as well. I've cooked belly pork, that wasn't as successful. It wasn't like crackly, it wasn't crunchy at the top, which was a bit disappointing. Although it was cooked okay, it wasn't cooked how I'd like it to be. I've used the Perfect Bake, and I've put a video in my first one, that works really well. Although I've not used it as much as I thought I would. Not because I've not done much baking, but just because Perfect Bake, I found, tends to take longer. It's easier just to use the normal oven and bake it as the recipe states. If you are a new baker or a little bit worried, then absolutely use Perfect Bake, because it will work well and you don't have to worry about it. But I'm, quite a good baker. I do it very often, so I don't really need to worry about having something do it for me. I'm quite content with checking myself when I know when it's cooked. So yes, I've used the assist feature for cooking chips. That uses the baking sensor. They worked fine, they were perfectly edible, not too crunchy, not too undercooked. So far, yes, assist is a great feature if you had two ovens. It's a great feature if you are a complete beginner cook and you want that reassurance. It's not so useful if you're trying to do more than one thing at once, and I know one of the comments I had was asking me that question. So that's assist. Second thing, cleaning. There is a video on my channel when I clean this oven using the built-in cleaning feature. Must say I absolutely love the cleaning feature. This oven, you probably can't see it that well inside, but it's at the stage now where it needs a clean. I use it quite a lot. It is my only oven that I've got. So I tend to run the cleaning cycle once a month, if not. The first time I ran the cleaning cycle, I was very impressed. I did put the oven rack, this one, which you can leave in, at the bottom by mistake when it should go a little bit higher. Didn't seem to really affect the cleaning cycle, it worked anyway. However, like about 4 days later, the bulb blew. Now, not sure if the bulb blew because the cleaning cycle was too hot and it made it, the bulb isn't actually on when it's cleaning, but maybe the heat got to it. But it was a little bit annoying that a week after having this brand new oven, £1,000 oven, I had to go on Amazon and get a new replacement bulb. Maybe it was jostled around a little bit during transport and it just, overused it slightly and it just blew. Anyway, this bulb has not blown and it's been fine, and I've used the cleaning cycle a couple of times since and it's been perfectly fine. So, cleaning cycle. It works really well. The oven can look very dingy, and after the cleaning cycle, it's basically white dust and a quick wipe and it looks brand new. I've noticed the odd bit just around these edges close to the glass don't get clean. They don't tend to, maybe it's just where it is, well, it probably is just about where it is when it comes to heating. They don't turn to dust. So the edges, just a little bit dirty still, as in, it makes you think, oh, if only it was just a little bit. Also, the glass door, probably just because it's glass and not ceramic like the oven, doesn't clean as well. You do have to, I have a cleaner that you use for a hob It's like basically like a razor blade, and I use that. I just go over that, and it comes up perfect. So it does clean, but you know, it's not. When it says cleans itself, that's not necessarily 100% true. Also, the biggest drawback, and it really bugs me, you cannot clean these shelves in the cleaning cycle. And what's annoying, and you'll see it on the back of these, this, you know, day-to-day oven dirt, grease, it doesn't come off in the dishwasher. You have to scrub it manually with a wire brush, or buy those amazing, and I love them, boxes where you put it in the bag and you leave it overnight and they come up immaculate. I thought when I got a self-cleaning oven that would be the end of me buying oven cleaning products. No, it's not. You still need them for these racks. It really annoys me that that is a drawback, because the side bits, these bits here, these rails, and the runner rail at the bottom, you can leave those in during the cleaning cycle and they clean themselves. The metal looks a little bit like brushed aluminium. It isn't aluminium, but it's brushed like stainless steel. These are shiny stainless steel. I don't know why they couldn't have made these at the same metal that they did here. I don't care that, you know, I'm not bothered about them being shiny. I quite like the brushed look of these. And that way you could have left them in and they would have cleaned, and that would have been an amazing oven. You can do that because I've done a bit of research, and there is an oven in America where the shelves say that you can leave them in because the metal is designed to go through the heating cycle, the cleaning cycle. So that's one major drawback. The ends of you personally cleaning your oven are not over, unfortunately. Yeah, you can leave them, but quite honestly, why would you want to put dirty shelves back in a lovely clean oven, you know? So that's one drawback, and it really does bug me. I hunted online if you could buy shelves designed for oven cleaning, and I can't see any at the moment. So, but it would be great if they were the same metal that this bit at the side was, because obviously you can get metal that withstands the cleaning cycle because it's there. Why didn't they make them out of that? Who knows? Okay, I could leave them in, but I've read reviews that they will tarnish, they will go black because the heat is just too high. They could also warp, so I've not risked it. I've took them out every time I've cleaned. So that's self-clean. Absolutely amazing, great feature. If only you could use, keep the oven shelves in at the same time. That would make it absolutely perfect. Third thing. You will have watched my first video. If you haven't, then it's on my channel. When I first started using this, I found that the touchscreen was slightly unresponsive. You know, you'd press it and it wouldn't quite work. I'm going to switch it on now and see if it does it. What I found is this part of the touchscreen here, and it'll probably work now. Yes, it does, it works now. But that part completely stopped working, to the point where I almost thought I'd have to call out an engineer because my oven was broken. Everything else would work, but that one wouldn't. I'd press it and press it and press it and no response. I'd switch it on and off, no response. I did find that if I pressed it with 2 fingers, it eventually worked, but this part here was really acting up, and like I say, I did think, great, I've got a faulty oven here. As you've just seen, it worked fine then. So I think maybe it's a little bit temperamental. I did try cleaning it, maybe there's some grease on it, I don't know. But the touch screen, although a great idea, obviously isn't perfect. And it's a shame that it's not perfect, because obviously, really, that's how you interface with this oven. Unless you use the app, the only way to make it work is using a touchscreen. So if the touchscreen breaks, you've got a broken oven, you can't use it. So a little bit of a drawback there. Like I say, it did worry me. It seems to be fine now. Yeah, I mean, it's fine now, but there's been times when I've been pressing it and it just didn't work. Not sure why. The roller wheel, and people I've read in the past have complained that this can get a little bit of a pain. You can remove that and you can clean it, and then you can pop it back in if it does get grubby. So far that's not been an issue for me, it's perfectly fine. So touchscreen, like I said, I did think it had broke, but luckily it hasn't. I'm hoping it's not one of those issues that on and off and then eventually completely breaks. I'm just going to trust it and hope that it keeps working. Sticking with the touchscreen, the other issue that I found, and this is a weird one, and I think because this is an oven that obviously is high tech, you know, a touchscreen for example, sometimes I've switched it on, it's chimed, it's started, and then it's chimed again and switched itself off, almost like it's crashed, okay, like a computer crashes. It's like the oven crashed, and you're like, whoa. So switch it back on again and it seems to wait a second and then it comes back on and everything's fine. But I have noticed that it's probably happened about 3 times that I can remember it's crashed when it's switched on. Whether that's because there's been an update, and you do get, you know, there is an update for your oven. I mean, you know, first world problems and all. Click yes to accept the update. Maybe it's updated itself and it's had to restart because of an update. Who knows? But yeah. It has crashed a couple of times, not during cooking, not during use, so that's okay, but that's a weird thing, you know. You don't think of ovens crashing like computers, but I'm guessing because it's so technical, it can happen. And then finally, the Meat Pro. This goes in the side, and a couple of times, not often, but a couple of times, it's almost like the slightest wiggle and it will lose connection and it will think it's been removed. If you remove the Meat Pro while it's being used, it basically resets the program. So that's a little bugbear. I don't know, it doesn't happen often, but it has made me a little bit cautious when I'm putting things in and out. Because like I say, when you cook a roast chicken using the assist, you put it upside down and then you pull it out, turn it that way around and put it back in again. And obviously that procedure, pulling it in and out, it does worry me that I'm going to wiggle it too much and it's going to reset. So a little bit of a bugbear with the Meat Pro. Apart from that, I am really happy with this oven. That's my sort of like honest update. There are issues with it. It's not perfect, but overall it's great. I don't think it was the wrong idea to buy it at all. I will say I commented on remote start. Here it's switched off, I've just switched it back on. That seems to be slightly tweaked. One of the comments I had with remote start is that it needs to be turned on for the oven to work remotely using the app. I've noticed that whether it's coming out soon or it's out already, I've not noticed, but I think Bosch realised that actually that's a bit of a pain, because if it's not on, it won't work. You can't start it remotely. And I think they are changing that slightly so you can interact with the oven even if it's switched on or off. Don't know much about that at the moment, but I know that they're working on something anyway. So that's the Bosch Series 8 oven. That's my update after a few months. If you're thinking about getting one, absolutely go for it. You won't regret it. It's a great oven. Those little issues that I've commented on, maybe they won't happen for you. Maybe your Meat Pro will work perfectly fine. Maybe your touchscreen will be perfectly fine. Maybe it's just my oven. But I did want to give an opinion on what it's like so far. And that's it. So, right, that's the end of this video. And what I'm going to do now is put this on clean and get it clean because it's very, very grubby. So, thank you for watching. If you have any comments about what I've said, then please put them in the bit below and I'll get back to you. I'm very quick at getting back to people. And that's the end of the video. The next video I think I'm going to do is on that device just there. That's my KitchenAid slow cooker. So that video is coming soon. Okay, thanks for watching. See you soon.